Let's talk about creative financing and what to look for. When it comes to creative financing deals, this is what you need to know. This is your host and real estate coach, Rafael Cortez. You are listening to the REI Wholesaling Podcast, where every week I bring you the real life case studies and strategies you need to level up your real estate wholesaling business. If you haven't done so yet, go to reiwholesaling.com. Again, that's reiwholesaling.com. Sign up and get free access to your Wholesaling 101 course. This free training teaches you step by step everything you need to close your next wholesale deal and start making big money now. What's up? Back on the Wholesaling Business Blueprint series. Let's talk about creative financing deals, all right? So when you're starting to do wholesale, you do the math, you have a certain formula that you work out of, and then if you switch the model, if you're starting to do creative financing deals or land deals or anything that's outside of the regular wholesaling model, the numbers change, right? So what do you have to look for to know that you have a good creative financing deal in place? Before I do, make sure that you smash that subscribe button. Follow us on YouTube at Rafael Cortez CEO. Also follow me on social media, Instagram, and every other platform at Rafael Cortez CEO. All right. With that being said, what do you look for in a good creative financing deal? It's different. The math is different than a regular wholesale deal. Sometimes, the deals can be a little tighter and whatnot. Our first strategy, our preferred strategy is always wholesaling, okay? We always go for that wholesale number. If we can't get a deal to work with that wholesale number, we'll try a couple of different strategies like options. Creative financing is one of them, and then your traditional listings and stuff like that. But how do you pivot? What do you need to have in a deal to know that you can at least shoot a creative financing option whenever the wholesale deal doesn't work? Well, the biggest thing is keep it simple, right? You don't have to become this master connoisseur of creative financing structures to understand whether or not you have something that can be a deal when it comes to creative financing. There's multiple different ways of structuring creative financing deals, but before you jump into any of that stuff, you have to know whether or not you have something in your hands, all right? So what do you look for? What do you look for? This is what my company looks for anytime we're looking at a pivot in a potential creative financing structure, right? Creative financing means that you're taking over the payment. It can mean a couple of different things. You're taking over the payment, the seller is doing financing for you, or you're doing both. So it's just creative financing on that back end. It's also known as sub 2, right? So creative financing, sub 2, we're gonna treat it the same as just for the context of this video. But we look for 10% equity, okay? So we'll offer up to 90%. You can go higher in some instances. In my preference, we don't go beyond 90%, okay? So we'll offer up to 90% of the ARV of that property. Okay, and that's granted, right? That it doesn't need, another 30-40% in repairs. Okay, so we'll go up to 90%. And we look for at least 10% equity in every creative financing deal that we have. And I'll tell you why in a minute. The second thing is that we want to make sure that we have at least $300 cash flow if that property is rented out. So if it's got tenants in place, I want to make sure that it's cash flowing or that it can cash flow based on average rent rates, at least $300 in comparison to the mortgage payment that's in place. If we're taking that over or if we're structuring a seller financing deal with the seller. Another thing that we do in creative financing is that we'll structure it. If we're going to do an assignment of this deal, meaning that we're going to create the structure, we're going to negotiate, we're going to package it and put it all together and then assign it to an end buyer, somebody who's going to come in and buy it from us. We'll do a 3 to 5 year term. We don't, unless we're keeping it in the portfolio, we try to keep it limited. That way, the buyer is not married to the seller for the next 30 years, right? Granted, we are in and out of the deal in a matter of, weeks, but they're going to be in there for the long haul if they don't come in a refi. So we just try to mitigate that a little bit. We'll keep it 3 to 5 year term. That way they have to do a balloon payment or a full payout or, whatever that is, or refinance. However they want to structure it, but the seller is going to get paid out in a term of 3 to 5 years, unless we're keeping it, right? We're taking it down, then if we take it down, we try to stretch that as much as we can. So those are like the top 3 things that we look for or that we try to implement when we're doing a creative financing deal. Now, understand that your profit, if you're assigning the deal, so if you're taking it and you're handing it over to somebody else, to an end buyer, your profit is going to be in the down payment, okay? That's how you get paid. So for example, if you lock up a property that's the ARV is $100,000 and you lock it up for 90, you can sell that deal for 95,000. no banks needed type of stuff with $5,000 down, and the down is what you actually take as an assignment fee, and then they take over the structure that you created, and that's a whole nother set of videos. All right, there's multiple ways of getting these deals done. The biggest thing to understand or to consider from your part is that if the wholesale doesn't work, the wholesale offer doesn't work, you can pivot into a creative financing structure, and then still do something with it. Okay, still do something with it. Your profit is going to be the amount of down payment or money down that they bring into the deal, right? So bottom line, your profit is the down payment when you're assigning a creative financing deal. So the bigger the down from the seller, the more you make on that, okay? Questions to ask. That's why it's very important to figure out what kind of financing is there in place, if there is financing, if you're taking over an existing loan. We ask them, we don't mess with FHA loans. We just don't like messing with FHA loans. There's a lot of restrictions. The riskier loans, they put the seller in a tight spot. They put the buyer in a tight spot if the loan gets accelerated. So there's a lot of things that can play into it. We will not do creative financing structure on an FHA loan, right? We just don't touch them. Anything else, conventional, VA loans, all that stuff is doable. You still got to be careful as to how you structure it, but to us, it's important, right? If it's FHA, we just don't do that strategy. That's it. Bottom line. Now, you're also going to find out from the seller, how much longer do they have on that loan? And the payment. What is the full monthly payment they have on that property? PITI, principal, interest, tax, and insurance, right? That's the full payment, not just the interest or the principal. You want to know what the overall amount is so you can compare that to average rent rates and make sure that there's some cash flow in there, okay? At least $300 worth of cash flow. And then you're going to find out what the APR on that loan is, just, because you're going to need it for the structure of the deal. So to recap, this is what we do on that, okay? If we have 10% equity on a deal, we have 10% equity. We can structure it from 3 to 5 years, meaning that you're giving the end buyer enough time to go into the deal, refinance, and also give them at least a $300 cash flow on that property. It's something that's sellable. It's something that you can actually come in, you can structure, you have some value to it. Even though the equity is only 10%, you've created value behind the creative financing deal, right? Because now you have cash flow, you have terms, and then you have that 10% equity. They're buying equity into the deal. So now whatever they bring down, it's almost going to be a wash for them, right? Because they're getting a property that's not requiring them to get hard money financing or any of that stuff. So it's something that's sellable. Again, this is if you're looking to assign a deal. If you're looking to assign a creative financing deal, these are some of the top things that you need to look for to make sure that you even have something that's negotiable there and that you're going to be able to assign. Now, if you want to keep properties, make sure that you follow me for more strategies and content and ways to get out of that hustle and grind, right? Stay focused. You got this. Fam, thank you for listening. Every week I bring you the real, the raw, the mindset, the case studies, and the strategies you need to build your own successful real estate wholesaling business. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't miss out on real life experience and information that can make you millions. It's time to join the ranks of successful wholesalers and take advantage of one of the biggest opportunities that we have in our lifetime to generate wealth. So go to reiwholesaling.com. Head over to my website, again, that's reiwholesaling.com, and learn how to make big profits, make big money by finding, negotiating, and closing wholesale deals from your own backyard. You've heard the stories, seen the case studies. Stop thinking about it. It's time to write your own. Again, head over to reiwholesaling.com, click on coaching program, book a discovery call, have a conversation with my team, and you might get an invitation to join hundreds of students throughout the country who are leveling up on a daily basis. The writing is on the wall. Hustle is a season. It's not a business strategy. Take action, start building a sustainable and scalable real estate wholesaling business, and join the coaching program today. I will catch you guys on the next one. Talk to you soon. Stay focused. You got this.